Welcome back to 94, ladies and gentlemen. I knew I was going to catch you off guard, Danny. But Kate Cameron, Danny Stepanovic, as usual. Sorry for missing last week. Hey, we had to take our time, just recollect ourselves. You know what I mean? We'll break for a little bit. Oh, Danny, we already lost you. What's? Oh, we good. Okay, we good. I was gonna say that's something that's never came up before, but I'll say we got ourselves a good show today. We talking some of the big surprises in the NBA. We talking some things going on in California, some mayhem, as some people would probably say. And of course, we're also talking fit of the week, some of the best and worst City Edition uniforms. That's something that came up. I was gonna say probably about a week and a half ago is when all the City Edition uniforms released. So we're gonna be talking about that. We're also gonna be talking about something that happened last Saturdays on the sneaker app. A big drop. But a lot of people weren't able to hit on that because of some technical issues on their side. So I'm a little salty about it. But Danny, first off, how you doing today?
Pretty good, Kate. This past weekend I pulled a LaMelo Ball Thursday night, Kate.
Wait, say that again?
High ankle sprain.
Oh, really?
I've been dealing with a high ankle sprain. I've been chilling at home watching football, ice in the ankle. I'm doing okay, though. Can you hear me?
Yeah, a little bit. I was going to say you're a little bit like choppy, but we'll live through it. I can hear you, so that's all that matters.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say we should be good. But, yeah, that's tough, obviously. I was going to say that. I've dealt with an ankle sprain before. It ain't fun. Not at all. It's what LeBron say. He said something along the lines of like you're never recovering after an ankle sprain.
You're really not. You're kind of just living on with it.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm living with my ankles from high school back in the day. It's always been my kryptonite.
Oh my god, 100%.
But my foot looks like a tennis ball, but
I do. I saw. Okay, that's right because I saw that on your story. Oh my god, yeah, that was nasty.
yeah,
dude, that was bad. But no, I get it for sure. It happens. But Danny, let's get into it. Let's talk about some of the biggest surprises. I mean, you look at the standings as of now. You kind of go down that list. I mean, Utah as of now is a big surprise. Portland's still hanging up there, in that top three in the West. You've got the Sacramento Kings that we'll talk about a little later. But I mean, a lot of these teams that you're looking at, I mean, it's there are some surprises right now. I mean, you can even go farther than that and say that you've had head coaches fired so early in the season, and that's a surprise in itself. But Danny, I want to go to you first. Danny, what's been the biggest surprise you've seen this season in the NBA?
I mean, like you said earlier, the standings are kind of wacky, and I feel like 2 weeks ago we had the show, we were kind of expecting the top teams to get to the top, but a team that has remained on the top is the Utah Jazz, and I think that has to be the biggest surprise of the NBA season so far. With a win, I think it was against the Blazers. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yesterday, they're back to top of the West at 12-6, and for me, that's the biggest surprise. And the biggest question is Clarkson, who's playing like Allen Iverson out there, is Lauri Markkanen, who's playing looks like Dirk Nowitzki out there. Are they going to be able to keep this up season long and be able to be a playoff team? Because coming into the season, this was a team that was tanking for Victor for sure. This is a team that lights it up from all over the floor. They can stretch the floor from anywhere, and they're just staying hot. For me, that's the biggest surprise.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was gonna say, I'll be honest with you, you're cutting out there a little bit, so I understood what you were saying there, but and just in general, I mean, you look at the way this Jazz team is playing, it is very surprising to see that they're still standing on top of the West. And I think a month into the season, it's going to be we still got so much time to see how things are playing out and whatnot. So I don't know exactly how that will play out, but still, I mean, a month in, that says a lot. You're talking about a team overall that I feel like in a sense they're almost playing like they're on like an island of misfits. Like they kind of got just kind of thrown out there. Danny left. He'll come back in a few minutes. He's dealing with some technical issues. But from what I was saying, it's a team that I feel like has, I don't know, all their players are players that I feel like people have kind of discounted. They've discredited. They're people that they don't really care to see them play on their team. You know what I mean? You were talking Larry Markkanen, Colin Sexton. Let me pull up their roster real quick. Here we go. We got Danny back. But yeah, we're talking about team. Land of misfits, Larry Markkanen, Beasley, Kelly Olynyk, Conley, all these people that I feel like have just kind of been thrown out, kind of thrown to the side. People forgot about. They're playing on a team where they have a little bit of that, like, I guess, self-awareness of like, okay, like these people don't want us. Let's go prove to them what they're missing out on.
And So Mike Conley went down for them in the past game. He's been instrumental for them. Just a veteran dude who was kind of thrown to the Jazz. He pretty much runs this offense, 8 assists per game. That's fifth in the league. Only 1.5 turnovers. I'm gonna be interested to see if they're gonna be able to, keep up this hot streak without Conley if he's out for an extended period of time. At 35 years old, you never know how long these injuries can keep him out. But the thing about this Jazz team, the reason why I think that they're gonna stay alive and by the end of the season, I'm expecting them to be a play-in team for sure. I don't think they're gonna stay at the top of the West like this, but I definitely could see them staying in within that like 7 to 10 range, just because their bench is deadly. Malik Beasley playing like a 6 man of the year. This is a dude just a straight sharpshooter. 3 threes a game. He had 29 last night against the Blazers. This is a dude that can put the ball in the basket. 2 years ago, if you remember, he averaged like 20 points a game with the Timberwolves, and he was an add-in in that Gobert trade, and he's kind of just killing it. This is the best bench in the league right now. They lead the league in points per game with 45. So I really don't see, just because where the game is right now in terms of 3-point shooting and the way this Jazz team shoots the ball, I don't see them falling off too hard.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned, and I feel like as a team, this is just such a cohesive unit. And you also talked about Beasley, as of now, coming off the bench, averaging 14.1 points per game. I mean, you look at what Tyler Hero did last year as the sixth man of the year. He was up there for sure, averaging 20 a game. But for a guy like Malik Beasley, who isn't really discussed in general at all, I mean, you look at this roster, none of these people were discussed on their former teams. So that's a lot of really interesting stuff going on there. I mean, Larry Markkinen is, as of now, their leading scorer at 22 points per game, which, I mean, I feel like if you're a real NBA fan, nobody would have been able to predict that Larry Markkinen was going to be averaging 22 points per game with a team like the Jazz, especially. So you're talking about overall just a team. Like I said, I feel like they're just this island of misfits, like everybody won them off their team. They felt like they just didn't have any real true meaning on the teams they were currently on. Danny Ainge goes out there and he gets a bunch of guys that are able to kind of just bring in this good team, all this good teamwork, this deep cohesive unit. And I mean, something that I feel like not something that I feel like Danny Ainge said, something that Danny Ainge said that I feel just is so fitting for this is that he mentioned that he's never building a rebuilding team. He's always going to build a team that competes. He's always going to build a team that's going to be able to go out there and put out the best stats. And despite the fact that there is no one single like superstar on this team, he's still doing that.
Hey, real quick, we got to give Markkinen. You said Markkinen a shout out. You said 22 points per game. Kade, I'm gonna run through a couple centers in this league. Would you rather have them or Lauri Markkinen? You let me know. Domantas Sabonis, 2-time All-Star, or Markkinen right now?
I'll say, I mean, that's a tough one just because Sabonis is on a team that's also performing so well at the moment. But like, if you're talking right now, Markkinen's in that position where he's playing at an all-star level. So I feel like there's a very, very few centers I would take over him in this current moment.
DeAndre Ayton, a dude, not defensively, way better than Markkinen, but he can't stretch the floor like Lauri, and we don't even know if he can take an offensive load. If he can carry an offensive load on a team. Are you taking DeAndre Ayton or Markkinen?
That's another tough one too, considering that I feel like, again, as you mentioned, the presence of DeAndre Ayton's there, but at the same time, I mean, I think I've said this. DeAndre Ayton has the potential to play like Joel Embiid out there if he goes out there and plays like he does against some of the best centers in this league. The only issue is that he doesn't do that every game, and when there's a team that he plays that doesn't have that big center that he knows that he's going to be able to guard and play well against, he just doesn't perform the way he needs to. I mean, his rebounding goes down, his point totals go down, all of that. So as of now, especially in this offensive-driven league, I'll take Larry Markkinen.
Wow. Okay. I think I'm with you on both of those. I think I'm taking Markkinen over both Sabonis and Ayton. I mean, this dude is just balling out, like you said, all-star season right now.
Exactly. And to add to that too, I mean, you're talking about a team that, I mean, for most of these guys have never played together on the same team. I mean, you're looking at some of these guys, Lauri Markkinen and Colin Sexton. I mean, they've played together. You do have guys that were hanging around on this team after, like Mike Conley and Jordan Clarkson. But like overall as a unit, like this is the first time all these guys are playing together. And for like guys like Larry Markkinen and Colin Sexton and Jordan Clarkson and Mike Beasley, I mean, these are completely different teams for them. But you also got to think about this too. You're talking about Will Hardy, the first year head coach, who's coming in and making this all. I mean, this is just, you look at this. I mean, I feel like surprise is an understatement. The like deeper you really dig into this, because everybody here is new and they're blowing away expectations.
And like you said, they're beating good teams that have been together. They just beat the Suns the other night, who they've been together. You know, that core of D Book, Aiden, they've played together for a while. I'm looking just, you know, their wins. They beat the Clippers, beat the Jazz, Hawks, Grizzlies, 2 times in a row. Nuggets, they're beating good teams. You know, they're not beating up on like the Rockets and, you know, bottom feeders of the league.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. I mean, they're out there proving a point. I mean, it's crazy to think, because you even look at the way they played against the Suns a few days back, where the Suns, what they're sitting as of now is I think the 2 seed now after today. But
Yep.
you look at the way they've played, and I mean, they're playing like a good team. They're dealing with injury, but at the same time, you're talking about a Utah Jazz team that beat a team that has had that consistency over the past few seasons and beat them down the stretch when it really mattered, based from that Lauri Markkinen shot. Like, again, that just shows just that cohesive unit, that teamwork, knowing that that ball can go to anybody on the court, especially in big moments like that. And that team has trust in their ability to make that shot.
All right, if you had to put your money where your mouth is, Cade, last game of the season, where are the Jazz sitting in the standings?
Let me check the standings real quick. I think last game of the season, 82 of 82. It's hard to, I mean, seeing the way things are playing out right now, it's hard to not put them in a play-in spot. I just don't
Yeah.
know exactly where. I think as of now, they're hovering around the 9, because I feel like they are going to come back down to earth. Yeah, I think 9 is actually pretty reasonable for them.
Yeah, I was gonna say 9 as
Yeah,
well. I
9.
think that's a fair spot to put them.
Yeah, so I mean, they're gonna come down to earth at some point. They're gonna hit that, not that really bedrock or whatnot, but they're gonna come down to earth. Um, and I think at the same time, you look at the way the standings are playing out right now, you do see teams, and I think there's gonna be some teams that hit harder than them too. I think Portland's gonna drop down a lot farther.
Ooh, really? I kind of disagree with that. I think
Really?
Portland is going to stay on the top. Yeah, I think I've seen enough out of Portland where they have enough guys other than Lillard to carry the load. In that loss against Utah, I know they took the L, but they had 6 guys in double-digit figures. Lillard only 13 points, but Anthony Simons looks like a star. He looks better than CJ ever looked, honestly, right now. And Jeremy Grant, that's such a good wing player. Jeremy Grant, Nurkic down low. I really like this Blazers team, Cade. This feels like a top 5 team in the West to me.
Hey, I was gonna say, I mean, those are now 2 teams. I mean, despite Portland situation where you have Dame Lillard, who is a superstar in the league, but you're looking at that. I mean, that's a team as of now that doesn't necessarily have those big key components, but they're making it work. And I feel like that's the opposite of what you're seeing throughout the league in some other places. Like, I mean, you see in Brooklyn how they're kind of falling apart there. I mean, that's been a whole disaster since the beginning of the season. You look at the Lakers as of now, where they have Anthony Davis, LeBron James, all these players, but still those 2 superstars aren't able to get it done. I mean, it's seeming like in a weird way the league is starting to change up, and it's not going to change up that much. I think this is a very short-term thing, but like you are seeing these teams that don't have those big-time superstars, and they're finding their way to find success, at least early on here in the first month of the season.
I like it because, you know, in the NBA, usually the superstars, you know, run the league. But to see some of these teams just playing good basketball is really refreshing. Kate, you got any other surprises that you want to hit on? What's been your biggest surprise?
I got one right now, and I feel like this one's really flown under the radar over the past few weeks. As of now, they're sitting at 5th in the East. It's a team that I don't think anybody was expecting to be in this position, even a month in. But I got the Indiana Pacers. I mean, as of now, they're sitting at 9-6. They're 5th in the East, as I mentioned. They've won 8 of their last 10, which is impressive for a team like the Pacers, because they still have such a young core. And granted, like I said, I feel like a lot of people weren't expecting this team to be good, especially with all the trades that occurred last season. But at the same time, I mean, you're talking about a guy that, or a team in general, that is just playing, again, as that cohesive unit without having a massive superstar on that team. And they're finding a way to get the ball around and make it work. Now, I will say there is a guy on that team that I think is in the position to become a big time superstar in the next few weeks. And I had him on my top 50 for that exact reason. But Ben Mathurin putting up stats, Tyrese Halliburton leading the team in points so far. You have a guy like Miles Turner, which, I mean, let's throw it back to when we were all talking during the off season when the Suns were trying to figure out exactly what they were going to do with DeAndre Ayton, Kevin Durant, that whole entire this situation. There was some talk that at one point when DeAndre Ayton signed that offer sheet to go to the Indiana Pacers, the Suns would find a way to try getting Miles Turner. And now you're looking at that and you think that I mean, realistically, I feel like that would have been a better fit for the Suns now, seeing the way that he's played in Indiana. And then you, again, like I said, in that 8 of the last 10, I'll admit they haven't been great teams. I mean, you do have wins against teams like of close win against teams like the Magic. I mean, they beat the Rockets pretty close, Hornets, stuff like that. But they also got wins against some of the bigger teams. They got wins against the Heat, Pelicans. Let me go back to October real quick. They beat the Nets. In
no Jimmy Butler
Brooklyn.
in that Heat game, and then like you said, they have beaten up on some bad teams. No LaMelo in that Hornets win, but yeah, I do. Kate, I'll give you your flowers. Kate, you called Ben Mathurin. You know, he right now we talked about Malik Beasley playing for 6th man of the year. I think this dude is in the lead right now. Big Ben Mathurin for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's played lights out. I mean, you're talking about a possibility of winning Rookie of the Year and 6th man of the year. Now, we'll have to see how things turn out because I feel like you're in this position as of now where I feel like you're in a position where he's ready to start. I mean, he's getting those big time minutes and he's putting up stats with those big time minutes, which is absolutely insane to see out of a rookie who, I mean, a lot of people knew he was going to be good. He's shown that success at the collegiate and youth levels. But at the same time, I mean, this is a guy that is, as of now, turning a team that was pretty much left for dead going into the season, and he's helping them get into a playoff spot 1 month into the season. Now, of course, like I said, we're only talking 1 month in. Do I think the Pacers have any opportunity in making the playoffs? Of course not. But at the same time, if you're a Pacers fan, you've got to be pretty confident in knowing that you have a young core that you can build around in the future. And when things begin to shift, especially in the offseason, and your owner does decide that they want to go out and spend some big money, which they were willing to do with a guy like DeAndre in this past offseason, that they're going to be able to find that success soon, a lot sooner than what I think a lot of Pacers fans were thinking.
I think you hit it on the nail, Kate. This offseason is going to be huge for the Pacers. I agree. I think they're going to come back down to earth. Beating up on these bad teams. They're really hot. Tyrese Halliburton and Benedict Mathurin. This is going to be a backcourt that's going to haunt the East. I'm telling you right now, Tyrese he's playing like the best point guard in the league, leading the league in assists, 20 points per game. I didn't think he was going to develop a shot this quickly, coming into the league, kind of unnatural shot creator. He looks great. Benedict Mathurin, 19 points per game already. We talked about him already, but Buddy Hield and Miles Turner are still linked to trade talks. So I expect them to be moved before the offseason. And if they can get, another top draft pick, maybe another young stud, they're going to be able to build this Pacer team up. They got a lot of young talent. Duarte out of Oregon, I really liked. He had a solid year last year. Nemhart out of Gonzaga, I believe. He looks okay so far, but they like him there. So they got some guys, and I think this Pacer team, they're gonna have a huge offseason, like you mentioned, see who they can bring in and who they're gonna be able to trade for. Because I don't see Buddy Hield, being the long-term solution there in Indiana.
Oh no, I agree, and I think he is. I don't know if he's going to be traded this season. I feel like because here's the thing with the Pacers. I mean, if they continue to show the success, by the time you get to the trade deadline, they're not looking to trade for guys to help build in the future. They're looking to trade for guys to win in that moment right there. You know what I mean? So I agree. I feel like Buddy Hield, Miles Turner, they're not those long-term solutions, but you got to think that when you're talking trade talks, who are you going to turn those guys into to get that big man once again? You know what I mean? Because they're in a position, as I said, they're in a position where Miles Turner, Buddy Hield, they're playing fantastic on a Pacers team that is showing success early on in the season. But if they continue to show that success, I mean, first off, we might have a different conversation, and the Pacers might not even want to trade them. And then on the flip side, with that is that you're now talking in a situation where maybe you see the Pacers trade for a big-time name. I mean, the Nets have had a lot of circulation going around their organization about Kevin Durant still seemingly wanting out. I mean, we still have no clue what's going to happen with Kyrie Irving, Ben Simmons, all that stuff. I mean, there's guys out there that are going to be dealt by this trade deadline, and we can say this for an entire another episode, but there's going to be big time stars that are going to be traded at this trade deadline. It's just a matter of seeing where they go and who they're traded to. But I think the Pacers are in that prime position where they have valuable assets that they can give up to turn into something that they can win with right now.
Hey, Kade, 1 month ago, who would have thought we would be starting a show with the Utah Jazz and Indiana Pacers?
Danny, and it's just going to get better from here because we still got California to talk about, and the best team in California right now is another surprise team in themselves.
Best team in California is?
Right now, I was going to say right now, but we'll have to see.
It's the Kings.
I did say that I did tell Austin that I was going to talk about the Kings this episode because of the way that they've been playing this season. I mean, I know at the time that we were talking, they were in a very similar situation as the Indiana Pacers, where they had won 8 out of the last 10. I'll have to check that one more time because I know they've played some games since then.
You're right.
But
eight of the last 10.
8 of the last 10. Okay, I was going to say same record. And yeah, they just beat up on the Pistons big time too. Well, I guess they didn't beat up on them. It was a high scoring game, but I mean, still, that's
you want to start with the Kings, Kade?
100%. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, I'll be the first to admit I did not see this coming. I feel like for the past, 5 years, I've always liked the Kings roster, and they've let me down so many times that I didn't believe in them heading into this season. But I'll be the first to say this is a playoff team, Kade. This is definitely a top 8 team in the East. The way this offense is so explosive. We'll get into. I can get into how I'm not going to trust them in the playoffs because they don't play a lick of defense. They really don't. Their best defender has fallen out of the rotation, Davion Mitchell, just because he doesn't keep up with them offensively. Their offense is second in offensive rating, 27th in defensive rating. They lead the NBA in points right now. I think they're calling themselves Beam City, right, Kay? What are they calling themselves?
I know they've done Sacktown in the past, but I don't know what they're calling themselves now.
Something about beam. After every win, they light up a beam like a purple beam up in the sky in Sacramento in the capital. Or something
Beamtown.
Like
okay, no, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, no, I don't know if that's. I'll say, Austin, if you're on, you gotta clear up the situation because we need to know exactly what it is. But yeah, no, they're playing good ball.
Yeah, no, this is a playoff team. De'Aaron Fox, he's playing like an all-star. He's balling out. The thing that I haven't seen out of Fox heading into this year is he's able to close out games. I'm going back a couple games ago to the Lakers. He completely torched the Lakers in the fourth quarter after they were down. And then a couple games ago, I saw I don't have their game log in front of me, but he dropped like 10 points in the fourth quarter earlier. I think it was against it was the Pistons. Yeah. So this dude is balling out. He's closing out games, and he's looking like a number one option.
Yeah, it's overall looking good. I will say, touching back to one of the things you mentioned, when Davion Mitchell is your top defender and he's in his second year in the league, that says a lot. I don't trust that at all, and I 100% agree that by the time it does come to playoff time, that's going to make a big, big difference because I feel like, again, you saw it last year, the number 1 and the number 2 defense were the 2 teams playing in the NBA Finals. If it's that same trend going into this year, I mean, the Kings are going to make it to the first round, which the city of Sacramento, great for them. I think they'd be happy to make the first round, even make the play-in. But at the same time,
they're gonna throw like that Timberwolves, that meme, that Petra Beverly meme.
Oh yeah, Pat Bev, him throwing it into the.
That's gonna be the Kings.
Hey, but that's the thing though, is they deserve that. I mean, Minnesota, we can talk about them a different time, but at least with the Kings, they haven't seen the playoffs since 2004, 2006, something like that. So it's been a long 18 years, something. Yeah, it's been a long time since they've been to the playoffs. So they deserve to do that a little more. But I mean, again, going back to some of their game logs, I mean, 137 against the Pistons, 130 against the Spurs, 153 against the Nets. I mean, you're talking about, and that's in regulation too. That's not even an overtime score. That's insane. 122 against the Warriors, 120 against your Lakers, 127, 116. This team is putting up stats, like crazy stats. I don't think it's one thing to think that the Kings were going to kind of have a comeback this year, and I feel like we've even talked about it. That you look at where the West was sitting right at the time at the very beginning of the season, seeing them in the play-in and whatnot, they had the pieces, but we weren't sure exactly how good they were going to be. You're looking at the way they're playing now. It's a complete turnaround in this way this team has been able to play. And just those, I mean, again, some of those offensive stats are absolutely insane. I mean, you're talking about putting up almost 120 per game. That's insane.
It goes back the other way though, Katie. You know, you brought up the game logs. They're putting up offensive stats. They have not held an opponent to under 100 points yet this season.
Yeah, see,
So
that's not good.
I'm interested to see how long that'll take. But yeah, um, for me, they're locked in for the playoffs already. I'm ready to say that.
I'll say I'm not sure. I might see him slipping into one of the play-in spots, but I'm talking like 7. I'm talking about a play-in spot that shouldn't even be a play-in spot. You know what I mean?
Okay,
Now,
that's
real
what
quick, I
I
also
agree.
do want to call you out on this too. Going into the season when we were doing our top 50, I had De'Aaron Fox on my top 50, and it's looking like it's pretty solid right now. So that's 2 for 2 for this episode itself.
He's in there. He's in there. I was wrong on that for sure. No, I'll admit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So okay, but I mean, going to some of the other teams, I mean, you're talking about the one team that I don't think anybody was expecting to be the top team in California. Now you're talking about some of the other ones as well. Uh, Clippers, I feel like they're starting to bounce back. We're not going to spend too much time on them. I mean, they're finally starting to figure themselves out. I want to say the other night, John Wall, first time that we've had a Clipper with more than 15 assists since Chris Paul in 2017. So they've got themselves a point guard finally. It's going to work out for them. The
Yeah,
Warriors. I want to talk about the Warriors for a little
real
bit.
real quick on the Clippers, Kate. I'll just hop in with a quick nugget. I think they're going to be fine too. Kawhi is back. They outscored the Pistons by 26 points with Kawhi on the floor, so I think they'll be fine without Kawhi.
Yeah, no, and well, I mean, they've
Yeah,
shown that they'll be fine without Kawhi too. I mean, you look at again last year, they saw some success in the playoffs. You look at 2 years back, they made the Western Conference Finals without Kawhi. They'll be fine. I completely agree with that. And as we talked about, I mean, at least for me, that's my championship prediction going into the season. I'm sticking with that just because similar to the sense that you see with the Jazz, is that they've got a team that has a lot of depth. The only difference is that they've been sticking around for a lot longer. Um, Now, real quick, going to the Warriors. Warriors are, I mean, I don't know what's going on in Golden State. We did see this last year where they just kind of fell apart of that beginning part of the season. With that being said, that was with Steph Curry injured. But I mean, they're just not put. I mean, I think they've lost 8 straight road games. Like they haven't. I don't think they've won on the road this season.
they picked up their first road win of the season earlier today against the Houston Rockets, the worst team in the league. So they're 1-8, I believe, on the road.
Yeah. So I mean, you're talking about a team that can't win on the road. They haven't had any success on the road. I think that's going to change, but it's still kind of just a weird dynamic to see. It might be a little bit of a championship hangover. It might be just because maybe that age is showing. I mean, Clay Thompson and Steph Curry both put up stats this game, but I feel like in these road games, it's either been one or the other. And I don't know. They have not been playing well on the road, and that's very surprising and also very concerning if you're a Warriors fan.
Hey, I think for me, Clay has he's been off to a terrible start. He just dropped 41, hit 10 threes against the Rockets, like I said. But kid, I think the Warriors missed time this whole offseason. Let's start getting the young guys going. I think they completely jumped the gun on it. I think they're missing Gary Payton right now. Looking back at that, I pulled up their championship roster. Key players off the bench for them. It was Gary Payton. It was Otto Porter. I remember Belinga. How do you say his name? Bielitsa. Bielitsa. Sorry.
Yeah, Bielitsa.
He was big off the bench for them, and now they have the worst bench in the league. James Wiseman, second overall pick, 2 years ago? He got demoted to the G League. That's how bad he was.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Earlier this week, demoted to the G League. Kerr was asked about it. He wasn't calling it a demotion. He's calling it a tune-up, but we all know what that means. Kuminga and Moody, I think they played a combined 10 minutes in that Rockets win. Completely out of the rotation. Jordan Poole, he's been totally inconsistent off the bench. I don't know if it was that Draymond Green punch knocked the jump shot out of him. I don't know if it was it might have been just the contract. He got paid now. He was one of the most underpaid players in the league just a year ago in terms of how many minutes he was playing. And now he got paid. I don't know what it is, but he has 4 games in single digits, 2 games with 30 plus points. He's all over the place. He had a good game against the Rockets, but this bench, if they don't figure out this bench, they're not going to be able to keep up with the heavy hitters in the West because they're playing their starters heavy minutes. I think Curry, Wiggins, and Clay earlier today. I can pull up the game log, but they all logged like 37, 39 minutes in a win against the Rockets.
Yeah, I mean, talking about minutes, you look at how much they're playing. Curry's averaging 34 minutes a game, Wiggins 33. Uh, Poole and Thompson both averaging 28. Draymond Green averaging 30. And again, when you're talking about guys that are just as old as they are, that's not going to be anything that's going to work out in their favor. I mean, Steph Curry's playing lights out. I was definitely wrong about that one. I was definitely probably going to be wrong about Jordan Poole coming away with sixth man of the year. But at the same time, you look at this Golden State team in general, and they, again, as you mentioned, jumping the gun is a perfect way to put it. I mean, they've got, and it's weird too, because you even look at their bench in general. And I mean, you've got names in there that people recognize. I mean, James Wiseman, as you mentioned, he should be playing good, but he's not. Kevon Looney's, yeah, he's starting, so we don't got to worry about that. Jordan Poole, another guy that I thought, I mean, he played great in the finals. He played great last season, but now he's not playing anything, or he's not really putting up the numbers I feel like a lot of people were expecting him to. Dante DiVincenzo, a guy that I feel like really made his name known in Milwaukee. Now he's just kind of being thrown in games just to give him some minutes, it feels like. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a very strange situation for this team. I feel like in general, they've got to bounce back. I feel like that veteran status is going to help them put themselves in a situation where probably will be. My guess will be probably after Christmas is when we're going to start seeing them kind of put themselves back in that playoff conversation. But at the same time, I mean, you're now asking the question: is that okay? These players are these old players too, especially. They're doing good, but are those young stars going to be able to come back ready for the postseason and help give them that time, give them the rest they need to possibly put themselves in a position to win another championship?
No, I completely agree. I think they're going to be fine. Like you said it earlier. They have Steph Curry. It's that simple. So they're definitely going to make the playoffs. But yeah, if they don't figure this out, I don't see them competing for a championship again. But I'm sure by Christmas time, Steph Curry is going to be dropping 35 a game, and they'll be at the top of the West. So we'll see.
Yeah, wait, hold up. Do they got a Christmas game? Because I feel like Steph Curry and Christmas Day games just go hand in hand together.
Let me pull it up real quick. Oh,
I'll say, hold up. I
don't
think
know.
I got it. They do. Oh, Grizzlies Warriors too. That's gonna be a good game.
Okay, all right. Well, hopefully,
Yeah,
Jaw's
okay.
back by then. Yeah.
I will say no. That's going to be a good game. So hey, at least we'll be able to see. Hopefully, I mean, if he stays healthy, I feel like he better stay healthy because I want to see Steph Curry play on Christmas Day. All right, but Danny, we gotta do it. Last team in the California area, the LA Lakers. How
Hey,
you
the
feeling
hottest
about
team in the
them?
league right now, Cade.
Our hottest team in the league. You guys, okay? Let's see the last. You guys are 5-10. Your last few games or wins against the Spurs, the Pistons, and you got one against the Nets though. At least you guys got that one.
Yeah, a three. If you look at who they've beaten, they really haven't beat. These are teams they should be beating. No LeBron, so I guess they are good wins. But the biggest thing for me is it looks like they finally have some guys that they can play. Dennis Schroeder and Thomas Bryant came back 2 games ago against the Pistons. They looked good against them. And Thomas Bryant against the Spurs earlier today. I didn't really watch too much of the game because they were blowing out the Spurs, and I was pretty invested in that Chiefs Chargers game. But Thomas Bryant, 15 and 9 in 23 minutes. If they can find a starting center where AD can play the 4 just like he wanted, AD, real quick, 3 straight games, 30 points, double-digit rebounds. Kate, you love to see that. AD, he's waiting
No,
for
I think
LeBron
you
to get
love
back.
to see that.
Oh yeah, I love to see that. But if they can find a center that can, run the floor like Thomas Bryant can, who was on the Lakers a couple years ago, had a breakout year when he left and went to the Wizards, coming back to the Lakers now. Really totally underrated center. I'd like to see him in that starting lineup with LeBron. But in these 3-game stretches, it's allowed Schroeder to kind of, he hasn't looked too great, but he's been able to show that he can run the offense. 13 points earlier today. Reeves is looking great. One more thing. Oh yeah, Kendrick Nunn. Finally, a sighting. He's alive. He is alive. Earlier today, 13 points. 2 games ago, 10 points. The past 4 days, he said he only shot jump shots. That they went from like a Monday to a Friday. They had like 4 days off between that. He said he didn't shoot one layup, Kate. He shot only jump shots and threes in four straight days, in 2 straight games, double-digit points. If we can get Nunn, Schroeder, and Thomas Bryant going, this feels like a Lakers team that is good enough to make the play-in. Coming into the season, I was expecting 6th seed. It's just not that good. If you have to play Patrick Beverly and Russell Westbrook, then you're not going to be that good. But I kind of like this roster where it's going. I don't know. Maybe I feel like I say that every single time I hop on here though.
I was gonna say, I mean, they definitely. I mean, 3 straight. That's obviously a good look for them. It was gonna happen at some point where they're gonna be able to get at least a little hot, and win some games. They just got lucky enough that they play Pistons and Spurs back to back. I mean, those are 2 teams in general that have obviously shown very little success over the past month of the season. But at the same time, I mean, when you're talking about a team that has LeBron James and Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook and even Patrick Beverly, they're going to be able to find that success at some point. I don't know how much success that's going to be, but they're going to be able to find that time where they will succeed and make things work out. But Danny, hey, Suns Lakers Tuesday. We got to see how that works out. Yeah, hey, it's going to be in Phoenix too. I got lucky enough that I'm able to work that game, so I'll be in house for that. So we'll have to see how that all plays out.
Okay, well we'll see. We'll have to see if LeBron's playing or not. Okay,
I'm hoping he is. I was gonna say I know it's gonna be a busy game for sure, but I'm hoping he's playing that game.
When you say you're working, what are you gonna be able to be watching the game or no? Like how does that work for you?
I was gonna say, so it depends because I won't be able to really check in and like watch any part of it until probably like halfway through the second quarter. So I'll be able to check out the last half of the game. But
okay, so yeah, you'll be able to hear all the. It's gonna be a quiet game, so you won't be hearing too much. I'm sure the Lakers gonna be silencing the crowd. AD owns Ayton. Come on, we all know that.
Oh yeah, AD owns Ayton, but the Suns have owned the Lakers over the past 2 seasons, so it don't matter if he's owned Ayton. We'll take all the wins for sure. People are gonna come out there and splash a few. You know what I'm talking about? We'll see how that plays out. But hey, I was gonna say, I mean, a month into the season, plenty of surprises, plenty of just really interesting storylines to come out of it. And again, I mean, this is just 1 month in an already insane season. So,
and we only talked about 5 teams.
Yeah, only 5 teams too. You're talking about, I mean, the Nets. It's not. I guess it's not really a surprise at this point, but at the same time, that's a whole dumpster fire, and I don't know what's going to happen there. I think the surprises are going to come right around the trade deadline for that team. I mean, there's other teams in there that are maybe not surprises, but they've definitely been able to show that they're either meant to be at the top, or there's a team that has kind of proven that they're right back in it, as I mentioned with Portland, or as you mentioned with Portland and whatnot, and how you think they're going to be one of those teams that are going to find themselves in the playoffs. But with that being said, we still got. I mean, it's going to be a good rest of the season, and it's going by quick too, unfortunately. But
yeah,
we'll make the best of it. All right, Danny, let's hit fit of the week. Danny, 0-3. You got to come back. You got to find some way to get back into this.
Hey, I'm winless, right?
You are winless right now.
Okay, all right. You want me to kick it off?
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right, fit of the week. I'm going with Serge Ibaka. I was going off the thing you sent, and I was like, okay, he's going with something with some layers and some headwear. So I was trying to find something like that, and I think I found something better than you, Kade.
Serge Ibaka. I disagree.
Okay, we'll find out. Serge Ibaka rocking the beanie. It's getting cold outside, and rocking the Kade, I always blank. What are these called again? Cardigans. Sorry, cardigans.
Cardigans. Yeah, there you go.
Cardigans with the wide beater underneath. Boots down low. It just feels like a winter fit for me, and I kind of like how he's able to dress up the beanie. You know, most of the time I feel like beanies are kind of casual, but I think he pulls off the beanie in a nice dressier way. And so I'm going with Serge Ibaka. He might be a first timer on this show. I don't know if we've ever had Serge on here.
I'll have to check real quick, but yeah, no, I like it. I feel like the cardigan with the low cut tank top's a good look. I do like the bag he's rocking with too. I feel like that's a good accent and like statement piece that doesn't take away from the entirety of the outfit. So I like it. It's just not my favorite because my favorite's got to go to Miles Turner. I think this is a dude. I mean, I feel like this is something I've seen with him in the past, so it doesn't really surprise me that he's wearing something like this. But overall, I feel like this outfit just goes. It's such a nice outfit, a little Western kind of theme to it. He's got the hat. I wouldn't call that necessarily a cowboy hat, but he's got that cowboy hat look. The white graphic tee underneath with the bull and the matador, whatever they call him. I think that's a matador at least. He got the jacket with a little phrase at the bottom, and he's got the Dior. I just call him Dior Converse. I don't know what else to call him, but I'll say I feel like that's a great fit. You know what I'm talking about? And we still got to find a way to make it a little more professional than me just showing the camera, but overall, I think I'm about to go 4-0 on you this season. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But
If I'm being honest, I think you are too. I've never seen someone
exactly.
pull off a cowboy hat like this. Like this is like talking rocking like a streetwear with the Dior shoes. How many times have you seen someone rock like a Pharrell Williams like cowboy hat look like that?
Got to be the first time, I think. Maybe unless I mean Miles Turner is a guy. I think I've seen Miles Turner wear hats like this in the past, like that cowboy hat look. I don't know about with Dior, the like Dior kind of like Converse look though, but I think it's a fantastic look. I'll have to throw those up tomorrow. But yeah, as usual, go on social medias, Twitter, Instagram at 94 Feet Show. Vote on that. Guys, get me up to 4-0. I was gonna say, let's get a good lead in here. All right.
Before we figure out what the punishment is.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think we got to I'm gonna put out a tweet about that this week. It's
Okay.
because we've been doing this too much this semester. I'm gonna say I've been saying that I'm gonna be doing stuff. Man, we said we were gonna be doing TikToks 2 weeks ago, and we still haven't done any of them. But hey, it's working out. We're making the best. Hey, we're still putting together good content. I feel like this is the like. I mean, we don't have much viewership, but this is like some of the best viewership we've seen over the past few weeks. So we're doing pretty good, I gotta say.
You know, we're having fun with it too, so that's all that matters.
Exactly, that is all that matters. All right, as mentioned at the top of the show, City Edition uniforms came out about a week and a half ago, or at least some of them came out, I guess all of them now came out a week and a half ago. So we're gonna take our time to discuss which ones were great, which ones weren't, and I'll say, like, Danny, I don't know if you feel the same way about this, but I feel like with the City Edition uniforms this year, Nike was kind of lacking with these.
Overall, I feel like most of them are pretty basic. Yeah, I do agree. I feel like majority it's kind of mid. That's
Yeah,
like the best
exactly.
way to put it.
Like, I'll be honest with you, looking through these, I don't think there's one that I look at. I'm like, yeah, that's a great looking jersey. Like, I mean, there's some, don't get me wrong, there's some that look good for sure, but there's none that I genuinely look at. I'm like, oh, okay, I want to see my team rock these every game. You know what I mean?
And oh no, ooh, I think there's a couple of them. I do think there's a couple where it's like I wouldn't mind, seeing my team hooping them. But it's like, am I gonna drop $110 on one of these jerseys on any of these? Nah, there's no chance.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Danny, we'll go with you first. Danny, which is your favorite out of the collection? I mean, there's a good amount, but which is your favorite?
I'm pretty basic. I like my jerseys clean, and I don't like too much going on. And I picked out for my favorite. I think I'm going with the Detroit Pistons. I don't know if you can pull it up
Really?
real quick, Kate. Yeah, it's just a clean green, with cream and blue. It's an homage to a gym in Detroit, St. Cecilia's, where local hoopers Isaiah Thomas, George Gervin, Magic Johnson hooped in. I think it's just a clean jersey. I like the accents. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with it. Was either that or the Boston Celtics, another just clean jersey. Like none of these jerseys are like like you said, like amazing. Where it's like this is clearly the best jersey. So I picked out two the Celtics and Detroit Pistons. I think they're the cleanest ones.
Yeah, okay. I like the Celtics a lot. I was gonna say I feel like that's one that's really nice. I'll pull up a picture of that one real quick. Detroit, I'm not a fan of the style of it necessarily, but at the same time, I do really like the story about it. That is like I feel like that's the definition of what a City Edition jersey should be. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I think just in general, the way it looks, the way it feels, like that's just the like definition of a City Edition jersey. It's supposed to tie in the city with the team itself. They do a great job with that. Um, for my favorite City Edition jersey, I felt like this was a kind of tough one to rock with. I think there were a lot of decent ones. I mean, you look
Hmm.
at like the ones like not the Lakers, the Clippers. The Clippers had a really nice one in my opinion, kind of keeping with some of those same trends that they've rocked with in the past, but putting a new style on it. Uh, Denver's isn't terrible. I mean, it's a little basic, but it's not terrible. I'm going a little bit more out of left field with this one, in my opinion. I'm going with the Washington Wizards as my favorite City Edition uniform. They technically in year two of wearing these because they announced these really late in the last season. But overall, Washington, I feel like it's supposed to be like the cherry blossom jerseys. So like they got that pink in there, got those blues to kind of tie it in back with the Wizards and whatnot. And just in general, I feel like I feel like they're just a decent jersey. Like just going again, kind of tying it in with the city and whatnot.
I actually really like it too. Like the shorts go really well. It's kind of like a gradient shorts too to go with the jersey. It looks like it's. I think they just picked the perfect pink. Honestly, like
Exactly.
yeah, it goes good. Pink and blue are always two colors that go well together. Um, you said I guess there's a lot of is there like a lot of rose or flowers around Washington or something, Cade? Like
Well, yeah, so it's
oh,
always in the
cherry
springtime. They got
blossom.
the cherry blossoms and whatnot,
Mm,
and that's a big thing out in DC. So yeah,
cool.
they made the best with that. And just in general, I feel like it's overall just a really just good looking jersey. Just the pink because it's so hard to pull off pink, and I don't think a lot of teams go with pink, which makes sense. But like I feel like teams gotta start incorporating that a little more. Pink is a fantastic color, and it's just not incorporated in professional sports nearly as often.
I don't know if this is a hot take, but this is like NBA world. The Miami Heat Vice pink jerseys are like some of the most sacred jerseys that I feel like NBA fans love. I think
Oh
these are
yeah,
better. I think these are better. I
really?
like. I don't. I like how the pink isn't as bright as the Vice ones, and how the blue is a little bit darker. I think I'm gonna go Washington over Miami Vice.
Do you remember a few years back when they did the Miami Vice jerseys, but they're running out of ideas, so they did like the tricks like light blue to pink, that
The
gradient.
gradient. Yeah, I have that
That
pulled
was
up right
such a
now.
bad look. That's such a bad look. I'll say the Miami Vice ones I did like were the black Miami Vice ones with the pink and blue, or yeah, the pink and blue. Those were not. I think
Yeah.
those were my favorite, hands down. But at the same time, I mean, I do like these a lot. All right, Danny, switching from your favorite to your least favorite, though. I feel like we've got a lot of options for this one. But what's your least favorite?
Yeah, where do I start? You know, the one that I actually really do like is the the Hornets jerseys, but they got the word "clit" on the front of the jersey, so that has to be up there with one of the worst jerseys. Come on, what are they thinking? Worst jerseys? Do you have one, Kate, already picked out?
Yeah, I was gonna say I
Okay,
was
go
gonna
ahead.
keep it for the Hornets one because that's just like
Okay.
that's such a like you can't mess. You did not think that much into it. Like first off, going back to last year's real quick, I thought last year's were so underrated. They looked fantastic. The grading's a little different, but I thought the honeycomb, the grading, all that stuff looks fantastic. But again, to go with this year to literally, I mean, you're one letter away. Like that is right there. It's like, what were you thinking when you brought these jerseys out? And you got to rock those for a season too. Like, do you remember? Okay, hold up. This is what it reminds me of. A few years back, this is I think like one of the first years that they did the city edition jerseys and whatnot. When you had the Bucks wearing the Cream City jerseys.
Who had? Yeah, okay, that was worse. That was
Yeah,
worse. Come
exactly.
on.
How was now? I mean, they were just as bad in my opinion, but like
Yeah.
with Charlotte, like they just did not think that one through. So no, I would say that's my favorite. But since we're also kind of talking about it a little bit, I'm the basic one and the easy one to say would be Minnesota because those were trending over Twitter like right when they released. Everybody hated those. I'm gonna go with. Let
They're
me
just
think.
boring.
Yeah, exactly. They're just they're boring. I mean, their explanation was also really like, janky. Like they're trying to tie in like a different color from each of their logos and whatnot. Like I just think that's overall really just a weird dynamic and whatnot. Like I understand it, but the execution on that was terrible. I think as another one of my least favorite city connector or city edition jerseys, I gotta go with the Warriors. Like
Dude, I was gonna say that's my least favorite.
yeah, because the logo on the front looks great, but the fact that they like tie in a rose at the very bottom where it's tucked in, you're not even seeing it, and then when like when it's out, like it's all like kind of like bunched up, like you can't even see it. So it's like I don't.
It's gonna look so bad when they're wearing it. Yeah, that's gonna look
Oh yeah, no,
terrible.
I was gonna say I saw, or they were wearing it against the Suns a few days back, and yeah, it's just a terrible. I don't know, like it doesn't look good. I don't know what the whole idea of having the rose at the bottom would be. I think if they just kept it the logo on front, just black jersey, one of the best city edition jerseys in the league. But you throw that rose at the bottom, it went from like one of the best to one of the worst.
It's by far now that I'm thinking about it, Kate, this is by far the worst because it doesn't even fade into the shorts. Like,
Yeah, exactly. And it's just they're black shorts.
yeah, they're just black shorts. And I was talking to my boy Devin, who sits next to me in one of my classes. He's from the Bay, and he doesn't understand the rose. Like
Really?
Yeah, he said he didn't understand what it meant. Apparently the jersey was just designed by some Bay Area artists, some artists from the Bay, and she just designed it. But I guess yeah, he's from the Bay, and he told me he didn't get what the rose meant. So it
Yeah,
also doesn't even make sense.
no, I agree. I don't really understand that one. To me, it doesn't make any sense either. It would look good if it wasn't for the fact that they had the rose at the bottom. So yeah, that's a bad one in general. I don't know. That's like I mentioned, I feel like this year in general, they just kind of fell off with the City Edition jerseys. They're not a bad look. But also real quick, I didn't throw this one out there, but we probably should have. Danny, what's your like kind of like I don't know, middle of the pack one where it's like kind of maybe you didn't think you were gonna like it at first, but now it's kind of a surprise one for you and you're like actually kind of like leaning it. You know what I mean?
For you mentioned this earlier, the Clippers. When their jersey first dropped, everyone was kind of hating on them, but I think it's just a clean jersey. Nothing too crazy on there. Um, it's a mid jersey, but it's just clean. I don't know. You can't go wrong with a black jersey. You really can't mess that up. And the color palette around Los Angeles, I think for me that's like just a solid city jersey.
Yeah, I think they definitely made him look a lot better, in my opinion. I mean, I wasn't a fan of the fact that they kept going back to this, like I don't know what you call it, but almost like the Gothic Los Angeles across the
Yeah.
jersey. Like I liked it, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it was necessarily the best. Now, what I will say that I think as a jersey itself looks absolutely terrible. On court, though, actually doesn't look horrible, at least in my opinion, are the Pacers City Edition jerseys. Like, I would never pick that up as a jersey myself. Like, I think it's a bad look. But when you see them on court, like, they're honestly not terrible.
Yeah, no, really. Okay, I'll have to pull up, some of the highlights or something. But yeah, this it looks like an ugly jersey. Like like the color blocking is terrible on it.
Yeah,
The
no,
the
the
blue.
color, it is a bad look in general as a jersey, but weirdly on court, you look at the uniform. I'm trying to find a picture right now. I know they wore them the other day. Yeah, here it is. They wore them the other day with like it's the opposite of the Warriors where like you have the flower and it doesn't even like go into the shorts. This is the exact opposite. Like it goes straight into the shorts. Like it's not a terrible look.
Okay.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like it's not a terrible look. The jersey itself is trash, but the full uniform, the full kit, it's not a bad look in general. So that's why I'm kind of rocking with it. Like, not my favorite for sure. It's not a great look, but not terrible at the same time.
Okay. Yeah. No. No. Yeah. You saw me. You saw me the right way. Okay. I like that.
I was gonna say it's all about just the full I like the best. I feel like the best City Edition jerseys are the ones that the fans are actually going to be able to go out by themselves and whatnot. But at the same time, like I feel like some of the most underrated ones are the ones that you see on court that overall look good together. I feel like that's why like the Charlotte one last year, where it was the honeycomb and the gradient and whatnot. On court, it looked really good. I just feel like it wasn't one of the fan favorites that everybody was like kind of like lambing over. You know what I mean?
Nah, I feel that.
Also, I
And
do want to touch on this too. I've never been a fan, and I don't know why, but I've never been a fan of uh with a lot of these city jerseys and whatnot, or not a lot of them, but I feel like a decent amount. It's always teams keeping the same designs, just changing the color of the jersey. Like Miami's done this 2 years in a row. They did it like 4 years straight with the Miami Vice jerseys. Brooklyn's now doing this 2 years in a row with their Brooklyn Nets jerseys, which I think in general I'm not a huge fan of at all either.
you can even bring up the Rockets, who their jersey's really clean, but it's kind of just a knockoff of their old Houston, like the '90s Barkley Rockets jerseys. Um,
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, that's not a great one either. I mean, even then, Memphis going like to that old like Memphis or that Vancouver's Grizzlies script, but changing it up just enough every year to make it a little different. Like, dude, that's nothing special. I mean, in general, there's some pretty bad ones. Real quick though,
how'd
talking
you
about
feel about
jerseys,
how'd you feel about the Suns? That blue, that bright
it's
blue.
okay. It's grown on me a lot. And realistic,
Uh,
really?
I don't know, man.
I'll say it's grown on me, and I think a big part of it's just like the story behind the jersey and whatnot. Because I feel like again, another jersey that really ties in with the city edition like
Yeah.
aspect of it, and like tying in with this in this case the state. But they did a really good job putting a lot of detail and effort into that. I mean, I again, that's a whole. I can go on for days about what every one of those every aspect of that jersey means and whatnot. But overall, I think, and again, it's growing on me. It's a lot different, but it is growing on me. I don't think it's a fan. I don't think it's a terrible jersey. So. Uh, yeah, I'm a fan. It's growing on me. I'm a fan of it. I'll say that right now. But
Okay.
real quick, also just again, since we're talking about jerseys, weirdest jersey matchup I think that I saw today, and just in general, I mean, it was the Warriors Rockets, where the Warriors, I think, where they're just wearing their typical blue uniforms, or not their road white uniforms and whatnot. The Rockets were wearing their San Diego Rockets jersey, so it was the green and gold. And then I don't think they switched up the court, so it was just their normal Rockets court, just the red. I thought it was such a weird look, but I mean, I had to bring that one up just because it was just again in general. Like, I mean, you're talking. It looked like it's almost looked like a neutral court game where it's like they took two teams and just put them out in like the Houston's court.
They're playing like the summer league in Vegas.
Yeah, pretty much. Let me check this real quick. Yeah, no, it's the Warriors wearing their blues, and I think it's their throwback blues too, where it has the Warriors across the front.
Clean
And then
jersey.
yeah, the Rockets wearing their white jerseys with the gold and green in them because of the San Diego Rockets on their just normal red
I
court.
haven't seen those actually.
Yeah, they came out a few months back, but I think that honestly, for some of the throwbacks that a lot of those teams were bringing back, the 75th
Oh, I
edition
did see
jerseys,
those. I actually really like
they
those
look pretty
jerseys.
good. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like they do a pretty good job with it. So I mean, that's the one thing that a lot of teams have been coming back with too, are the throwback jerseys. And I mean, there's some that I'm waiting for. Like I want to see. I want to see Toronto come back with theirs. I want to see Milwaukee come back with theirs. The Pistons brought back theirs, which I liked. But there's a few other teams that they haven't brought back their throwbacks yet, and I'm very much waiting for that to happen.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Lakers brought back the Minneapolis ones. I really like those.
Exactly.
Those are
No,
clean.
those
Yeah.
are nice.
Yeah.
Those are great.
I
But
know.
yeah, no, a lot of good jersey talk, and I mean, a lot of this is because Nike is now the main partnership and whatnot, and Nike always likes to do this. But at the same time, I mean, I feel like with the NBA in general, they're doing a really good job heading the culture the right way.
I think so too.
All right, hey, but speaking about Nike, we both ran into this deal on Saturday, and man, we're talking the biggest drop of the year: the Chicago Lost and Found ones, and of course, Nike, the sneakers app crashes. Like,
It was meant to happen, man.
no, it one. I mean, it sucks that it was meant to happen, but like, again, just the fact that it did. I'm talking right now, like, wake up at 8, like I'm ready. I go on the sneakers app, trying to press the join draw, and nothing's happening. It's like, what's going on? Like, I'm freaking out in my head, like what's going on? So like, I delete the app, saying like, okay, like I'll just refresh it and whatnot. And then like I get back, I re-download it, and I can't even get back on like logged in and whatnot. It's like, dude, this is a joke. I can't believe this. Like, especially with like one of the again biggest drops of the year, and this happens.
I was so
So
disappointed.
frustrating.
Kate, I had sneakers on my phone. I had my boy's account on my laptop. I had my sister's account on my desktop. All three I was not able to hit on all
Oh,
three of
so
them.
yeah, you went all out with that too.
Yeah.
That's so tough.
And then I don't know if what happened with you, but like I wasn't getting notified if I like hit or not for a
Yeah,
while. Like
I was gonna say no, that happens too because it's like there are some people that I know that like they joined and then it took them like 45, 50 minutes to get their like results back, and it's like
yeah, because
it
I
took a
eventually
long
joined
time.
Did you ever join the draw?
No,
Oh,
I
okay.
tried. No,
I was eventually able to get in, but I didn't
oh,
get.
that's so
But yeah,
nice.
it was bugging for everyone. Um, even like the Foot Locker, the foot stores like JD, Champs,
Really?
Foot Locker. I tried on a couple of those. I wasn't getting through it on the queue, so I was like, oh man, it's just not meant to be. I might be dropping the ball on a resale, which it's not going too crazy right now. Sitting around 400.
I was gonna say I saw that the resale isn't terrible, which I feel like is to be expected with a pair of Chicago ones that aren't like really a true pair of Chicago ones. But at the same time, I mean, that's so unfortunate. Yeah, I know. I ended up having to like my best chance as of now, and I'll have to see if this actually ends up happening. Is that I ended up joining one of the undefeated draws, and hopefully, fingers crossed that I get that one because. I'll be honest with you. I do not have the money to be able to spend on a pair of shoes right now. Like, there's a lot of other things happening that I need to save my money for. I need a new car pretty much, but at the same time, I was ready for these drop. I was ready to drop the 180 on these. This is a little
No,
bit more important than a car right now.
nah, same with me. I like blew all my money a couple of days ago because I had to get new tires and a new battery. But my
Jeez.
paycheck hit like the day before on
Oh
Friday.
yeah,
So
same here, same
I
here.
had just enough money to cop these shoes. Still, man, it wasn't meant to be, I guess.
Dude, that's so unfortunate. I was gonna say, I'm hoping that I'm waiting. They're not going to, but I'm waiting for like Nike to release a statement being like, "Yeah, we're sorry this happened," because oh my god, like everybody. I mean, it was one of those things where like I think I even like one of the first things I did was check Twitter after it happened. I was like,
Yeah.
just to see like, is this the only happening to me or whatnot? And of course, you looked at everybody. It's like, yo, why can't I join this draw?
And then you can sympathize with the rest of the sneaker Twitter.
Exactly. I was gonna say. I mean, BR Kicks. Not to give a shout to them or whatnot, but they understand. Of course, because of they got sneakerheads over there, but they understand what it's like to be a sneakerhead in that position, especially having to rely on sneakers to get your kicks and whatnot. It's tough,
Yeah,
man. It is a tough world,
it
especially
really
just
is.
holiday season and whatnot. I hate it. I was gonna say I hate that so much. I
And
just
hey, I was looking to camp out. Okay, I know we talked about it for a little bit, and then I messed up my ankle, so I was like, oh man, okay, I'm not gonna camp out. But
I
yeah,
was
I was really banking on sneakers, man.
I'll say I don't know if I mean I don't even think there would have been places that really would have been able to camp out for. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
I haven't researched to see like what spots in Phoenix even like does that. I know spots in LA, but yeah, I'm not sure what retail stores in Phoenix
I
even
think
do that.
there was one store. It's a place called Manor that I think they had a weird thing where it's like they did a raffle a few days before, but your raffle wasn't a raffle to like buy the shoe, it was just a raffle to see what place you got in line.
Oh,
It was like,
okay.
and then
Oh,
you'd
that's
go
a whack
camp out and
raffle.
whatnot. Yeah, I know
Okay.
it's a little different. It was something like that. I can't remember if that's exactly what it was, but it was something like that. Which, again, almost worth it considering it was one of those like almost like smaller boutique kind of stores. But at the same time, you even got a question like, are they going to be able to put themselves in a position to get them and whatnot? So, man, it's tough though. It's a tough world. I'm
Hey,
still
it's all
kind of.
good. We're bouncing back this Wednesday, Kate. We got the AMA fours dropping. Are
I
you
saw
dropping
that. Uh,
225 retail on that? That's a high retail.
That is a high retail. It's kind of tough too, especially with the AMAs, just because it's like they've released so many. I mean, they released the AMA
Yeah.
twos earlier this year. They had the ones, shoot, I think end of last year, maybe early this year. I think it was end of last year. Like they've had a lot over the past few months. So I don't know if
I, I'm
225 might be a little
I'm
steep for
waking
this one.
up. I'm waking up for these just to resell. I think if I hit, I'm flipping these. I don't know if these
Yeah,
are cute.
I would be the same way. I mean, the only ones that I think coming up that I might actually like try for are the DJ Khaled
Oh,
fives.
really? You were
I
hating on
think
those. I
so.
remember. They're growing on you.
But I was gonna say there's some other ones where it was like the like pastel purple, which I knew I wouldn't rock
Uh,
that. This one would be a little easier. And honestly, even then looking at it, the colorway, I don't know if I can really rock this one. So, but still, that's another one where it's like 225. So I don't know if that's worth it either. Yeah, I don't know. It's the Chicago ones were gonna be that one make or break shoe this year, and sneaker screwed
took
us
some
over.
L's, man. That was a
Mad
fat L.
terrible L's. But yeah,
Yeah.
Danny, you got anything else to wrap the show up with?
Hey, December is coming up quick on us, Kate. That means we're gonna be having sneaker of the year. We're gonna be doing
Oh yeah, that's right.
we're gonna have our list coming out soon. We haven't talked too much about what we're gonna do, but I'm guessing we could do like a wish list for next year.
I like that.
December's always a fun time of the year for the sneaker community with just lists, debates. Christmas drops, cherries are dropping in a couple weeks. Should be a good month coming up for the sneaker content.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'll have to see if I can cut some clips from that one episode where we did the predictions for this year, and
Mm.
try throwing and are those in the live stream and like kind of like see a recap who was right, who was wrong, and then kind of going off what trends we're going to be expecting going to next year as well. Kind of just kind of tie it all in together. You know what I mean? But
Oh,
yeah, I
you're right.
agree. I feel
We
like when
did
it
talk
comes.
about some trends. So yeah, hey, we're definitely going to be doing like trends of the year. Lots of stuff coming up. Should be fun.
Exactly. I was gonna say it's end of the year. We got a lot to recap, a lot to recover. Hey, Danny, think about it this way. This show started almost a year ago now.
Yeah. Wow.
That's crazy to think about. This show's almost a year old, which is that's a crazy thing to think about. But hey, I'm happy about it. It's been a good, I guess, 10 months now. We'll get to that year part soon, but it's been good. But hey, guys, as usual, thank you so much for tuning in today. If you weren't able to check in, I mean, obviously you're not going to hear this if you're not able to check in, but make sure you also check it out on Blaze Radio tomorrow, 10 to 11 p.m.
Hey,
And
we
we're going
real
to make
quick,
the best of
we
it.
got someone in the chat. He's saying we got to do biggest surprises too.
Oh, biggest surprise. Oh, 100%. We can definitely make that work out. I'll
Yeah.
say biggest surprises. when it comes to sneakers and whatnot. But as I said, we're gonna have a lot of really good. Oh wait, hold up. Maybe he's got his own surprise.
He's talking
Kyle
to NBA.
Kuzma.
Hey,
Yeah, no,
Kyle
he's not gonna
Kuzma.
be sad.
Hey, Kyle Kuzma has been putting up some points. He was talking trash. I don't know if you saw. He was talking trash to Dennis Schroeder, a former
Oh
teammate
yeah, I
on
saw that.
IG. He's
That was
balling out.
funny, but
Hey, sorry,
hey,
we
no,
can
I
wrap up
agree.
the show, Kate. Sorry.
Okay, there we go. And no, I agree that hey, maybe future son. We'll see. I was gonna say he's kind of talked highly about those Suns, but as mentioned, we thank you guys for just so much for joining tonight. Tune in tomorrow if you missed any of the show today. And of course, as usual, we'll get fit of the week out on socials, Instagram, Twitter at 94 Feet Show. We'll have those out hopefully tomorrow. Make sure you vote on that. And as usual, make the best of this week. Make the best of it. Happy Thanksgiving. And we'll see y'all next week.
Thanksgiving.